Louisiana's $2.4 billion a year seafood industry is playing a waiting game right now. As oil from the damaged Deepwater Horizon rig continues to leak into the Gulf of Mexico, seafood lovers and seafood suppliers are hoping for the best, but they're fearing the worst. In Houma, Louisiana, one oyster processing plant is still moving fresh oysters to restaurants and supermarkets across the country, but its owners wonder for just how long.
This is what it's all about here at Motivated Seafood, home of the gold band oyster. Fresh, raw oysters bound for restaurants across the country. Last year, the plant shipped out more than 25 million pounds of oysters, but Vice President of Marketing Kevin Bossan says as the state moves to close more and more oyster beds as a precautionary measure against the oil spill, the company is operating one day at a time.
Over 60% of the seafood in Louisiana is produced west of the areas that are closed right now, so there's still a lot of hope. But I'll tell you, every day that passes, that hope kind of gets thinner and thinner, and we've got to get this stopped.
Bossan's plant is one of only a handful in the world that produces an oyster that is completely free of harmful bacteria. The patented process uses pressurization without affecting the taste or texture of the raw oyster. But pressurization can't overcome the effects of oil should the state's oyster beds become contaminated by the spill. Even
today, on the Far East at ground zero, as far as where things are starting to wash ashore, no oyster beds have been covered. So I think the state, along with industry, has done a very good job of doing these precautionary closures to avoid that scenario. Louisiana has over 7,000 miles of coast if you trace it along the edge. Right now, probably 1,000 or 2,000 of those miles is affected, but that leaves 5,000 miles that we can still harvest from safely.
We earned that today.
But out here in Cocodrie, where so far oystermen have continued to bring in the daily catch, the worry about what tomorrow holds is ever present.
We work 50 sacks every day, 7 days a week. All you come, you ain't gonna be making nothing.
Bossan says he too is apprehensive about what the future holds. His shuckers continue cracking open oysters by the thousands as his warehouse continues to fill with sacks from the coast. And with 220 families depending on Motivated Seafood for their livelihoods, it's time, Bossan says, for less finger pointing and more answers.
Well, right now, we're focused on trying to help people find solutions and move forward. There's a whole lot of seafood that's good out there right now, but if we talk about the potential, the worst case scenario is there's a lot of plants like ours that just simply won't have anything to do.
Kevin Bossan says demand for Louisiana oysters has actually spiked in recent weeks as buyers anticipate further complications from the spill. Again, right now, no oyster beds have been directly impacted by the oil spill. The closures of the beds are simply a precautionary measure while state officials work to analyze and continue to test the safety of Louisiana Gulf seafood.